Hello. Okay. It's like my favorite little thing in the entire world. Okay. I struggle with facing reality. I did a video on certain anxieties that I faced as a child, and I did a video on certain things that I'm kind of going through at the moment, but I think it kind of all stems from me refusing to face reality, what's happening right in front of me. What I do is I sit there in my room by myself, and all I want to do is think about certain outcomes in certain situations that I'm in. And then I try to figure out how I can manipulate the situation to end up with that result, because that would mean a result that I have expected. I do not like entering situations where I don't know what the end result is going to be. That's a stress. It's like a beyond stress in my mind. Certain commitments, certain situations, like anything. It could be as small as trying to make an appointment at a doctor's office. To something as big as jumping into unknowns with important people in your life. Like, it varies, but it's always the same. I chicken out. I don't know. It is kind of like, I've always kind of knew that wasn't a way to be since I was little. Because when I was little, younger, I used to not want to do something as simple as pay for something that I'm buying at a store. I would hand my money to my little sister, and she would go pay for me. Even now, she did it with... She helps me so much with everything, because it's just... I get so stressed out. But, like, I don't know how I became this way, and to fix it seems pretty hard. I'm trying to do it myself, but I don't know how bad it is. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna eventually need help to fix it, but I know that I have to in order to end up where I want to be. I don't really have any plans or goals or things that I want to do. Like, I do, but not really. Someone asks me, what are you passionate about? What do you want to do with your life? I just say default stuff because it's what's normal. You know, it's what you say. In reality, and what's going on in my mind is full panic, because I am the age that I am, and I still have no idea. And I've never been someone to think about more than a few days in advance. Because to think farther ahead makes me, sometimes, it depends on the subject or the situation, it makes me panic. Even now, I don't want to do anything but stay in my room. I've had today's my only day off this week, and I don't want to do anything today but stay in my room. Especially when, like, recently I've come to certain realizations about my current situation that just don't make me feel good as a person. But at the same time, it's what's reality. And I'm trying to face what's reality. Because when you hurt someone, as much as I've hurt someone, it's really hard not to sit and think about it. It's really hard not to sit and think about certain regrets that you have. And the best way you can get over it and the best way you can move on is to hang out with people, get out, work on yourself, make yourself better. That same type of, cliche stuff you hear all the time. Only time, blah, 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 that whole thing. But change is hard for me. I mean, it's hard for everyone, but I hate change. I hate it. I hate change. So when you're put into a situation where you're forced to change, it's so hard. It's so hard. And I try not to dwell on negatives and focus on positives, but I mean, that's the easiest part of it, and it's still not easy. I just want to have a life that when I look back on it, I can say, when I set out to create Boss 865, do you think it just happened overnight? No. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I mean, like, no regrets. But right now, I'm not off to a good start. Just like I learned from this fight, never to let a guy stand on my neck. You didn't know that already? I feel like I'm just like an alien. Like, I've always kind of felt a little weird, but I feel like I'm someone who's like on the outside looking in. all the time.
Hey, how long until Pete's fight?
5 minutes. Right now they're interviewing his opponent. Apparently he trains by going to Iran and pulling the arms off thieves.
Because all I do
Hot dog?
is live my life through
I'm really nervous.
the comforts of my room.
So Ross, how did it go with Bonnie?
Oh, I gotta tell you, I wasn't expecting to like her at all. I mean, I actually wasn't expecting like.
It's not a healthy way to be.
But she's really terrific.
Oh, it's too bad.
No, I'm saying I liked her.
And to start, you know, I started realizing that that's the type of person I was
I think she's great. Okay, we're going out again.
back
I
in
hear you. Are you capable of talking about anything else?
Hey, which one's my turkey burger? The one next to
probably
Okay, flight starting. Be right in. So, did your boss
somewhere in
call us
October.
again today? 9 tonight.
started realizing that I was isolating myself a little more. Because where I would go and hang out with people, go to the bars or go hang out at someone's house or even just go into the living room to have a couple drinks with people who came over.
You got those numbers for me? No, I didn't do them.
I would find a way out of it. Before I used to do it all, you know, I was in a good place for a little while where I would do it and I would go and I would be perfectly fine. But I started to resort back to being isolating and all that stuff again. It was in November. No, sorry, October. And every October 31st, I have a Halloween party. And I kept on telling people, like, yeah, you know, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this party. And I really was excited for this party. I really wanted it to happen. But in the back of my head, I was... I was not feeling it. I haven't been feeling anything in a really long time. Just kind of numb and going through the motions for a really long time. But that moment, and then, like, it was fine, and then it was just, I don't know, crazy. I just felt like, I felt like I was in a cloud. It was just a cloud. But I was pushing myself through and pushing myself through and pushing myself through, and I was only focusing on that, just to get this party in and out of here. Let it come, let it go, like, have a good time, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if people notice, but when I'm nervous, when I'm anxious, I talk a lot. I get, like, diarrhea of the mouth, and I mumble, blah, 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 blah. It just keeps coming out. And at the party, I was bouncing around from people to people to people. Just like I always do that. I can't sit still. I can't just sit still. And I'm always bouncing, boom, 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 whenever there's a party, because there's a lot going on, and I know if I stay still and I assess the situation, I'm going to have not a panic attack, but I'm going to have full-on anxiety, and it's going to start taking over. So what I do is I keep myself busy, and I try to keep it at bay by bouncing from person to person to person to person. That's what I do. And I kept trying to do that. Boom, 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 boom. Bounce, 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 bounce. And I do that all the time, but at the same time, that overwhelms me too much. And then by the end of the night, by the time the party's over, by the time I look back on it,
Are you the one that decided you didn't want to be with Ross?
I don't remember much. Because
Isn't he your friend?
my mind was going a million miles a minute.
Happy?
And it's just been happening a lot more lately. With parties and things. It started happening again, like the overwhelming anxiety feeling Christmas morning when everybody was there and everybody was talking. My mom just got a new Echo Dot Alexa thing. And everybody was trying to talk to her all at the same time, and they were saying all these things. And that to me was creating a lot of chaos in my brain. It was It was too much for me. But I had to pretend